we have to forgive a lot, even when we don't want to. If they just beat me up and they're also asking me to tuck them into bed at night, I don't want to because I'm still upset with the situation, but I just love them so much, and I know that the next day is going to be better, or we're going to try again.
Hi, welcome to the Source Podcast. Today, we're going to give you a little inside look into our operations, our 24-hour residential homes. The home we're going to be discussing today is a behavior rehabilitative service, which we call Birch Meadows, located in the Spokane area. I'm with Gysell Zavala, our program manager from Birch Meadows. Welcome, Gysell.
Thank you.
All right, so what we're going to do today is I'm just going to ask you a series of questions, basically let the audience get to know you a little bit, talk about our programs, a little bit about you, why you do what you do, those kind of things. So you cool with that?
Yes.
All right, it's good to have you. Okay, so share a little bit about your background and what brought you to the Source.
Yeah, I was originally studying education at WSU in Pullman. That didn't end up working out. I knew I wanted to work with kids, so I ended up moving back to Spokane with my brother-in-law, Josh, and my sister, Yaki. So Josh, actually, who you know, he just kept pushing and encouraging me to join, thinking that I was going to be a good fit. I was looking for a job, and eventually I was just like, I'm going to give it a shot, and I've stayed about 4 years.
Yeah, and so did you start as like a line staff?
Yeah.
Okay. And the line staff does what?
We hang out with the boys. We make sure that they're fed. We verbally de-escalate them. We go hands-on when we need to. I mostly see it as just hanging out with the boys.
Okay.
And then diffusing the little bombs when something kind of goes off.
Yeah, so building relationship, getting to know them, helping them work through their struggles, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you were looking at the Source, after you had your initial introduction, what made you want to be part of it?
Like up in management?
Well, no, I would say why did you stick around?
Oh, I liked hanging out with the boys, and I felt like I was good at verbally de-escalating them, or like if there was a tough situation, that I could handle the stress and kind of help them work through whatever was going on in the moment.
Yeah. And a lot of our kids, they don't come to us, we don't get easy kids. Yeah. We get the toughest of the tough, right? And so typically kids that come to your home, they've been a lot of other places first where they failed. And it takes a special group of people to try to help them through their behavioral challenges and just helping them feel part,
Yeah.
All right. So for people who may not know, how would you describe what BRS is and why it matters?
Oh, I would say it's a group of teenage kids who struggle to self-regulate, and they need support from others to figure out what the healthiest way to do that is, and just to become a better citizen in society, and just we want them to make good choices. We just can't make them for them.
Yeah.
So we want to help guide them and also just be a really good role model. And so I've had to practice a lot of how can I show them how to be patient other than like a bunch of practice with them.
Yeah, you get the kids when actually you have the job that I envy because I love, that aspect of the job, working directly with the kids.
Yes.
Because you have a young person that is in their most formidable years. And as you're talking, you're saying, we want to help them be able to make better decisions that are going to help them succeed in life, and the years from, 12 years old to 18 years old are very impressionable. And you and your team have a good opportunity to help kids that are struggling to find their way. So pretty cool. So what does a day in your life look like at work, like as a program manager?
Oof. It's very high stress. So I've learned to just maintain that level of stress all the time. And I get really tired of hearing my name. The kids, when they're at school, I'm just in the office working as much as I can, also building rapport with the line staff. delegating tasks, also remembering to follow up, CFTMs, any appointments, stuff like that. And then the kids come home and they just have a bunch of questions for me.
Yeah.
So just trying to juggle what I can answer, how to empower the line staff there. If there's an escalation going on, jump in if I can, help with dinner, stuff like that. Just kind of get the day moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then also just transitioning them from being home to their program activity for the night.
Yeah. For those who don't know, a CFTM is a child family team meeting.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we have lots of acronyms in our work. And so there is that, can confuse people a little bit. So, so it sounds busy.
All the time.
Yeah. One thing that I've noticed, because me being the executive director guy, anytime I walk into one of the houses, I'm bombarded with, hey, will you change this? Hey, can you do that? Mm-hmm. And as the manager who's in charge, my answer is, hey, you need to talk to your program manager. Yeah. And so all the kids with their questions will go to the program manager because they understand that, hey, Gysell calls the shots here. Mm-hmm. And so you get a lot more questions than an average support specialist that's on the floor. Yeah. So what is something about the youth in BRS that you wish the public understood better?
That they're just trying their best. And some of the trainings that I've had to go through, just for the Source, helped me realize the difference between them fixating on something, and I always butcher the word. It's like perseveration or something like that.
Perseverate?
Yes.
That's the right word?
Yeah, where it's not, they don't want to fixate on it, but they are. And that's a really difficult moment to be in with them because they just keep asking the same thing, or they just can't move on past that. And so there's sometimes in school or appointments and things where that's going to happen, and they need a lot of understanding and patience and compassion that I have to constantly remind myself in those same moments.
Yeah.
To be able to work with them.
Yeah, it would be really good. For us, we get a fair amount of training on trauma-informed care, and all of our youth come from traumatic experiences, and it affects them. And it would be awesome if our communities and the other, schools, people in the community had a better grasp on the challenges that some of our kids face. Mm-hmm. I think that would help with compassion and understanding as they, struggle through things, working to find their way. Can you share a story or a moment when you thought, this is why I do this?
Oh, yes. There was a past resident, and he was ready to go home. And I got to work with him for about 1.5 years. Very rocky relationship, but I also loved being around him. And he was a very lovable kid. But it was time for him to go home. He made enough progress to go home.
Yeah.
And I got the privilege to drive him halfway there to
nice. Kind
of pass him off.
Yeah.
And I would do it for free.
Yeah.
And so just hanging out with him that last time and being like, man, you made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And I love that it was so bittersweet because I was so excited for him to go. But I was also really sad because I loved being around him. Mm-hmm. And so.
Yeah, when you see all the progress they made, and then you're like, oh no. I mean, oh yes, but oh no at the same time. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. You get to go, and get back, connected back with your family. That's awesome. So good on such a good job on your behavior, making those improvements. But then at the same time, there's part of our heart that's like, because they're leaving. So makes it challenging. Yeah. So if you have a new resident coming in, do you have a style that helps you build trust with them right away? What do you do first?
I'm very friendly, I like to think, but also really sarcastic. And I work with teenage boys, so they respond pretty well to
your filter
sarcasm.
Disappears.
It does, yeah. And I understand their jokes a lot, and just the back and forth banter.
Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, this lady's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that always helps. Yeah, first thing, I've always said that, a way to a kid's heart is through their stomach, so when they first come in, you're like, hey, here's some good treats. And then, start winning them over,
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right, next question. So what are some of the biggest breakthroughs you've seen from the youth at Birch Meadows?
Again, it's like that small progress. So I'll always remind myself of tiny things that they do, and I'll let them know you weren't able to do that before, or you weren't choosing to do that before, and now you are.
Yeah.
And so it's helpful. It's a nice reminder for the kids and for myself that like we are making a difference.
Yeah.
And if you can do it now, you have the ability to do it, and you can continue.
Yeah, that's great.
To make good choices.
So what makes Birch Meadows unique from other places the kids could be?
I think it's the staff and our relationship, like because we are relationship based, and that's a huge priority for us. Building the trust and the rapport with the kids, we're going to see more progress.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna see kind of, I think, like come to fruition or whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and we have other people from the state come in, and they'll let us know like how good the Source is with working with the kids, incentives, our day-to-day activities, getting them out and about in the community, because there is a risk bringing the kids out. But also we want to give them the opportunity to make a good choice, and we can't do that unless we actually bring them out. Unless we give them the chance to do it. And so it's really cool when like social workers, and they just kind of check in and they give us a shout out of how good we're doing. And I've also heard some horror stories from other places that's like, no, we really do care about our kids, and you can see the people that come in and they're not doing it for the money. They really do care about the kids.
Yeah, and that's like the foundational stone, right?
Yes.
So the people that work directly with our kids are awesome, and they have tons of good qualities because they'll put up with a lot of stuff that most people wouldn't want to, because you're helping a child work on their behaviors, and you're becoming a parent in a way to kids that aren't yours. And your team, it's very evident that your team and the teams at the other houses genuinely care about our youth. And for me, I've been doing this a while, but I don't get the direct encounters with kids as much as I used to. And so there's a little bit of jealousy from me to the staff because they're building the relationships. They're the ones like when I walk into a house, they don't really care that I'm there. They're like, "Where's Gysell?" And so, and for me, I love it because that just shows the depth of relationship that you and your staff have with our kiddos. So it's very cool. All right. So with this type of work, what keeps you grounded?
Prioritizing like a healthy work-life balance, which has taken me a long time. Not overworking myself, just having boundaries with my workload, asking for help, and going to the gym because I need to be like mentally strong but physically strong.
Yeah, that's so good. And it's we're 24/7. We never close.
Yeah,
and as the person who may have all the answers, staff are tempted at times to blow your phone up, and so it can be very, very stressful. And especially, what I've seen with you is that you have you're genuinely invested in the youth, and because of that, the difficulties that they go through, that it's hard to separate ourselves at time. But I agree with you that having that good balance is key, because otherwise, one of the terms that we have in our type of work is burnout, and we don't want that to happen to people, so. Okay. All right. So with your staff, what qualities do you look for in your staff that are going to work in the home?
Patient, open to criticism, kind, forgiving. That's like the biggest thing is we have to forgive a lot.
Yeah.
Even when we don't want to.
Yeah.
If they just beat me up and they're also asking me to tuck them into bed at night, and
so weird.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to because I'm still upset with the situation.
Yeah.
But I just love them so much, and I know that the next day is going to be better, or we're going to try again.
Yeah.
But kind of putting that aside and be forgiving and go and do that for them, because that's one of their needs, and they are also just children.
Yeah. Well, have you seen when you model forgiveness, does it help them become more accountable to their actions?
Yeah, I like to process with them the situation, because I want them to know that the choices that they made weren't the best.
Yeah.
But also that I'm going to love them regardless, and then just continue to work with them.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do next time.
Yeah. So when you model empathy and compassion for them, that starts teaching them, right? And typically, I mean, I've seen lots of kids where they don't care in the beginning, right? They'll hurt you, physically hurt you, or emotionally abuse you, or those kind of things. But as you show, you hold them accountable, but you also have compassion and empathy for them, understanding that you are not the target. It's like they're frustrated, hurt, wounded by the lack of people who care about them. And so we're the closest thing to them in the house setting. And so sometimes they'll lash out at us, even though it's not really even directed at us.
Yeah, I was working with, I think it was in the very beginning, and I just became a weekend manager, and I just was seeing a lot of incident reports happening on my shifts, and I felt like I was doing something wrong. But someone told me, like, I'm holding them accountable in those moments. Yes, we are seeing bigger behaviors, but at the beginning, you're holding them accountable, and they could be upset about that. But someone said that when they feel safest with you, they will show their truest self.
Yeah.
That also includes their worst self, So that's kind of a compliment that, like, okay, you feel safe with me, and you're okay to be able to feel your most painful feelings. And I get to be there for that.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the sayings we have is that we'll weather some storms. Because we know we don't get easy kids. It's not straight A honor roll students. We have kids that are violent, destructive. They're challenging, but by weathering those storms, dealing with their behaviors and escalations and things like that, we help them learn new behaviors. To get like, hey, perhaps as you get older, you'll realize that this is not the best way to treat people, and that we actually care about you. So a level of compassion and care, along with accountability. We're not there to let them just assault us, but we're like, hey, we're going to work through that. And so it's really cool. So if someone is considering working at the Source, what would you want them to know about this role, like for a support specialist?
Like a line staff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Every day is a new day, because sometimes the kids will not forget, I guess, but they move on so quickly that something could have happened the night before, and they're going to wake up and they're going to want to give you a hug and a fist bump, and it's like, yeah, I'm still not okay with last night, because we're all human. But that try to remain positive and know when to step away. Like, of course, you want to be there through the thick of it, but sometimes when you are not your best self, you kind of have to tag your teammate, I guess.
Yeah.
And they can take over, and you need to give yourself a break so that you yourself can de-escalate.
Yeah.
And then try again when you're ready.
Yeah, what do we call that? The optimal performance range, right? Where you're at this super steady level to be able to handle all the stressors of the environment.
Yeah.
But if you dip down below that, it's very important that we recognize, like, hey, I might need a moment. you know. I can remember back to a time when I was hit in the head with a picture frame, and it cut my head open. Then the next morning, I was waking the young person up for school, and he's like, saw that it was me and knew that he hurt me. And I said, hey, I forgive you for what you did yesterday. There's going to be some consequences for what happened, but I forgive you. And then the person rolls over and is like, I'm sorry I hurt you. So in the middle of the escalation, they just reacted, and I accidentally got hurt by him. And so but working through those things and seeing them come around and be like, hey, I'm sorry, the apology, and then the apology along with a process of working to get better is pretty important. So, okay, what is your hope for the kids that pass through Birch Meadows?
That they felt loved and seen and valued, and that in their short time, they felt like they made some sort of progress. We focus a lot on positives or just recognizing when they're making good choices. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I love the most, so I have the old, for me, when I was working as a house manager, those kids are, some of them 23, 24, some are up to 28, way up there. But I was just talking to one of them a couple of days ago, and he's like, I can't wait to come work for you. And he's like, I'm going to be able to do so much good for those kids because I would have lived in the same room as them and I would understand it. And one of the biggest things that I like to see is this, when our young kids grow up a little bit and then they're like, wow, those people did help me a lot. Mm-hmm. And the next generation of kids that you guys are all working with, they're not going to come and tell me that. They're going to come and tell you guys that. Yeah. And it's a wonderful experience when you have that. So, all right. So last question. Looking ahead, what are you excited to build or improve within your program?
Yeah, it's mostly just consistency. I don't know why that one's so hard for me.
That's okay. I think that we could just call it consistency, but one of the pieces what I do want to say is that I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for your commitment to our kids, your steadfastness. I can genuinely, the way I evaluate how, we have all of our requirements, right? The, reporting, the documentation, all of that stuff. That's all super important and very relevant on your success on that. Is we see it all the time. The real value is in the life of the children. And when, this summer, I was up there a handful of times working with some of the kids and watching them speak about you and the rapport that I'm not kidding. And I don't even ask a ton of questions. I'm like, well, how are things going? And then they bring you up and they bring up your team. And that probably brings me the most joy of seeing, we have this whole generation of young adults serving this next generation of teens and making a difference and an impact on their lives that they won't forget it for their whole life. And so I'm just grateful for you and for the people you're supervising. And I just want to thank you for coming on our short little podcast to share a little bit about what you do. And would you have a closing statement or anything, or just a thank you?
And join the Source.
Yeah. We'd love to have more people. It's a tough job. I mean, I have never had a harder job. It's challenging, but also there's moments of when you get these breakthrough moments and you have a kid that comes back and just like, hey, thank you so much for investing in me. It's like, man, if I didn't reach another kid, that young person's life was totally worth it. Mm-hmm. And you have many of those kids in the years you've been working with us that